What is up, everyone? Semi-original guy, aka Mr. Ken from Advanced Wars by Web, bringing you the Discord 10 Cup Finals, featuring two very well-known players. We have GO7 and Tordread, two legendary players on Advanced Wars by Web, and we are actually joined here today by my good friend Cynical Boy,
Hello,
aka
everyone.
ReconTV.
Well, that's my channel name, but yeah, you could say that. Anyways, how long has passed since this match happened? Because it has been quite a while, I think. How many months? Maybe 1, 2, 3?
This has been at least 1 to 2 months since this game has finished. So it has been quite a while, but you know, I've been sitting on it, waiting to do a replay on it, waiting to commentate, so I'm very happy that you're able to join us today so that we can do it together.
Hey, this is the Dragons in the Dark or something like that, if I remember correctly, the name. And I think it's gonna be a very interesting map. I normally don't like too big maps on fog, but I don't mind watching, so it's not me who is gonna play this. It's a tier 3 match, I assume, for the picks. And I'm surprised I'm not seeing any Drake, but I believe that Andy is the strongest CEO here. As you can see, the cities are very spread out, so Kindle, it's slightly out of the question. Last is not very good. Right, Rachel, there is 3 bases. She is also out of the question in my opinion. And about Sonia, can we just forget about Sonia? Like, in the only maps where she's viable in tier 3 fog is because there is some cheese semi-fog mechanic where, like in the hills have eyes, you can see more than your opponent with your pre-deploy units.
Yeah, so there's no cheesy stuff going on in this map. It is just a big circle with lots and lots of properties. That's pretty much it. But like you said, the properties are very spread out, so Kindle is not really a great option here. The other thing about this map too, I noticed, is there's not really any really effective capture chains, because most of the properties are spaced out like 4 squares apart from each other. So we might see some really interesting, you know, infantry play when it comes to capturing those properties. But aside from that, yes, it is a 3 base, 2 airport map and 2 comm towers on either side. Fairly well placed HQs, I would say. You know, they're not in the front, so it's going to be very difficult to get an HQ cap for sure.
Yeah, they are on the strong side of each player, so it's going to be quite hard to win by capture of the HQs. And there is 2 comm towers and 2 airports for each side, and the 2 comm towers are quite safe, I'm gonna say, because here the one near the souls in the center is very near these 2 bases, and the other one in the forest, among the forests, that seems quite exposed, is just on the corner of the 2 bases of the red player, for example. So the only thing that could threaten that comm tower immediately is the airport, but the airport is gonna get captured eventually. So I don't know what are the timings for the recons on this map. I think I remember there was an opening for a Neo tank super early into the game, but I don't quite remember anything else about this map. Maybe we will see an EPC opening. That's common in such a big maps, because this map is one of the biggest map in fog. The fact that there is those corners making it artificially bigger doesn't help, but I think it's gonna be quite interesting. I don't know if you have any thoughts about the match, but I really like mirrors of Andy.
Andy mirrors are always a really interesting thing. Especially if we get some really heavy units in there and the Neo tanks that you were saying get played. So I don't know, you know, I don't think it was this map, but I have played a version of this map before. and there was some very, very spicy plays that were going on, let's just say that. But it's actually interesting too, because these shoals allow for some ability to like rush the center too, because I do see that there's a connection right here between them. I don't know if that was there before, but either way. So I don't know, you know, we're gonna see what happens. We're dealing with two pro level players here, and they both picked Andy, and as I know, Cynical, you are also a casual Andy player as well as myself, so you know,
yes.
maybe we'll be able to see some top tier Andy play and just kind of see how it goes here. But without further,
didn't mention, this is the finals of the Discord 10 Cup, right?
Yeah, this is the finals of the Discord 10 Cup, and there were a lot of really, really strong players in this. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can find the the thing and put it on the screen here so you all can see. Hopefully it's there. If not, tons and tons of very, very well-known names. So either way, it goes to Tordread and GO7 at the end here. So just curious, you haven't seen this map, so who do you put your money on to win this one?
I think Tordread is very strong player, but I think GO7, at least for all my experience of me watching him, is a very consistent player, and Tordread has upsides and downsides, you know what I mean? If Tordread is on a good day, he might get the game out of GO7's hands, but I'm gonna bet my money on GO7 because at least on my eyes, he's the most consistent player. Not the most in all advanced course via web, I do know who is, but he's one of the best and he's also very consistent. So there goes my money.
Alright, fair enough. You know, I have fought both of these players before, and they both defeated me. So, you know, they're both amazing. But, you know, it is what it is, right?
I have fought them too.
Yeah, they're strong
players. League
players.
And in tournaments.
Yeah, strong players, so... Yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it, and let's just start seeing what happens here. Alright, so we got GO7 playing the Penguins, we got Tordread over here as Orange Star, and let's go ahead and see what happens. Alright, so we got standard infantry builds, and good, so we got the units facing the other direction, so perfect. Alright, so it looks like we are going up for that base right away. That's pretty standard, you know. Going down to the south base. So already we see a little bit of difference in the plays here too. So Tordread's going for those two properties right away. GO7's going up for this property. I wonder if that'll play.
GO7 is sacrificing a bit of early economy for a capture phase. Maybe he wants to capture the airport right after that city, or maybe he's gonna skip completely that city, maybe. But we will see. Maybe he is thinking about a battlecopter, a transport copter.
Entirely possible. So it's interesting. It looks like we're going for that city down here. We can't reach the base yet, so maybe... Oh, he's capturing the comm tower right away.
I think he's not going for that city on the south. He's just going for the funny. I think that's just simply a joke. Because that infantry wouldn't have gotten the base in this turn, so he just went for the funny, and he's gonna be able to capture the base next turn.
Oh yeah, definitely going for the lulls here. But yeah, that infantry would have been sitting on one of these two squares here, so not anything out of the ordinary. Yeah, there you go. There's that pro level play. Ooh, so okay, so we're not going for the comm tower. We're actually gonna rush the center properties. It looks like that's what we're going to be doing here.
So GO7 might consider the center properties where the fight is going to take place, so that will make those properties very hard to take after some vehicles have gotten their ways into the area. So he might consider that such a big deal that he's sacrificing early income to do that, sacrificing the early airport, everything for that city, and maybe he's gonna be able to capture one city and then the other. And no, normally what you can do is when you get to the middle, you lock one of the properties and you try to get the other, right? But maybe he's just gonna get balls, you know, locking it with an artillery that is very close to locking the left middle property. Just in 2 turns, it's gonna be able to lock that left city.
Well, that's very possible. And you know what?
I don't know. I'm just speculating.
No, I think you might be right there. Plus, considering that we're fighting an Andy mirror too, once the combat does start, it's going to be incredibly difficult to get either of the 2 armies away from these 2 cities because of the healing factors. KOs are going to be fairly difficult. I mean, we are going to have the boost from the 2 comm towers, but I mean, I can see a lot of units staying alive for quite some time. So if GO7 does manage to get these 2 properties in the middle before Tordread even gets up here, can give them a pretty hefty advantage. Oh, we got an APC. Alright, so it does look like GO7 is going in with the APC right here. So APC movement, we can move up to here on the road. We can move over by the HQ. Doesn't look too bad. We could load up this infantry and pop it in there. However, that would kind of slow us down from getting the airport, but I don't really see this back airport being used too often.
I think that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna use the APC to transport that city infantry, and the other infantry on the north on the base is gonna go for the airport anyways.
Yeah, most likely. Alright, so what does our friend Tordread do in this instance? Alright, so it looks like we are going to be popping some units close to the middle. Alright, going to go for the airport. And we got the recon. There we go. Alright, so very different opening here. We got an APC opening and a recon opening.
That's a weak side recon.
Yeah, weak side recon too. And this recon, I mean, if you're going to build a recon, I would say probably build out of this property for sure. We can get it all the way down here a little bit sooner. I have seen recons be very effective in kind of harassing this side down here, but I don't know. We'll see what happens here. I mean, the vision is going to be key for sure. We do have lots of mountains, though, that are pretty good for vision as well. However, holding on to that position might be a little bit difficult later on. Alright, so we're getting that center property. Very good. Well, it looks like we're both wrong. The APC is moving over here instead, and this guy is going to go down to capture this property by the looks of it. I don't know what this guy's doing. It's pretty cool.
So he's moving the infantry of the base to get the airport that it's more forward, and yeah, I mean I like this because now he's gonna be able to boost that infantry next to the APC from the base all the way into the middle in 1 turn, I think. Could you check the movement on the APC?
Yeah, we are gonna be able to load it right on top of this mountain. By the looks of it.
That's huge.
Yeah,
the problem is that there is recon coming, and if that recon goes straight up into the middle, I think it will be on time to interrupt the capture of the city.
Yeah,
so
it looks like it would actually be able to get all the way up there. We wouldn't get vision right away, but second turn we would get vision. By the looks of it, because we can move it all the way on one of these squares, and that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we would just be shy of seeing the city, but it would still take GO7 a few turns, at least 2 turns to actually start capping, which will leave time for the recon to probably move into the forest. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna be getting that second property, but hey, that's okay. I mean, the APC is huge because that allows us to put a lot of infantry into the center over a short period of time here, so yeah.
Normally, recon openings are very strong against transport openers because that means you are delaying your tank. That gives the recon more turns of window to attack, and not only that, but that also makes the infantry you just move forward and invest in funds into it useless because now it's not going to be able to do what you wanted to do. So it's a very good counter, the recons against transport openings.
Yeah,
But,
without a doubt. All right, so I just had my mind blown here though because Tordread didn't build a tank. He actually built an artillery. What is going on here? All right, my mind's blown. Thank you very much for watching, everyone.
I think Tordread wants to will an early artillery to control the middle, because it might not seem like it, but I think this is the same scenario as the other map, which is a ditto of this one. The center is where most of the fight is gonna be, and it doesn't look like it, but I really feel like it's very easy to wall on it. As you can see, there is a mountain and a silo to hack, and there is also that city. So it's very, not super easy, but it's quite easier to wall. Even though the fact that there is 2 comp towers per side, you will still have not such a bad time doing the walls.
Alright, so yeah, this artillery. So yeah, it would be actually really good to wall up this area here right by the mountains. We got a lot of defense train for sure. It does look like the artillery would be able to move right here onto either the silo or right by the mountain too, which would, if we put it right here, it would be able to lock both of the cities. But it would be a little bit exposed because of the road right here. So yeah, if we did manage to get a few infantry up there, build our wall, lock it in there, then yeah, that could be incredibly effective.
Yeah, putting the artillery there is very ambitious. If you manage to do it, it's gonna make a lot of damage, but it's also gonna expose that artillery. And at the end of the day, you can only interrupt one city of the 2. So, yeah.
No, that is for sure. All right,
the good
so...
thing...
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
The good thing about being on the mountain with an infantry early game is most of the time, if you're gonna be interrupted by a recon, you're gonna see it coming. But the problem is that there is a forest where the recon can hide. So maybe the recon will be unseen before it interrupts the capture.
Alright, so yeah, we have a recon moved into the middle, so we got lots and lots of vision here. Not going into the forest or anything, so I think maybe he wanted vision on like both of the cities. So he does notice that GO7 has moved up quite a bit here. Now, I mean, one thing to note here from GO7 is he actually has no vehicle support right now. It's all infantry at the moment.
I mean, he has an artillery, which is completely fine to support the recon, because you have the infantry to make that artillery not exposed. I think.
Yes, I mean GO7 has no vehicle support right now.
But yeah, it's not very flexible support. It's a very weak support, yeah, we could say.
Yeah. So, alright, so GO7 has 1,500 funds this turn. So let's see what he manages to do with that 15k. Capturing the airport. Capturing a second airport. So we're going to get 2 airports next turn. Bringing the infantry back. Now, yeah, I would say, yeah, good. I wouldn't say risk the capture for sure. That's it's a losing battle. The vision is way more important than any capture at the moment.
Wait, do you remember what I said at the intro? That there is a neo tank opening Can you see what GO7 just will this turn? Only infantry.
Only
And
infantry.
can you add what is his income and what is his cash and how many bases he has? He will have 24,000, and that minus 2 infantries will be exactly for a neo tank. So I think we are gonna see a neo tank.
Ooh, yeah, it is very possible we're gonna have that Neo tank popping up here. Alright, so Tordread going ahead and being fairly aggressive here with the recon, taking the shot. And actually, yeah, moves the artillery into the position I was thinking, so we got both of those covered.
Yeah, he didn't move away that infantry and let it get shot, which is fine because that infantry was not gonna die, and you rather get the vision of what the hell is Tordread plotting into the middle. And now that infantry still has 6 HP, which can do interrupts and blocking, and still it's gonna be able to do whatever. I mean, you are Andy, so that infantry for me is like brand new. And yeah, we see a neo tank.
There he is, the big old golf ball himself, popping up.
Yeah, I remember reading in the strategy thread things about Neo opening on this map, which is bonkers because the first vehicle that GO7 built on this map was a freaking Neo tank, not a tank, not anything but an EPC. Like, could you imagine that that's actually the meta of a map? I mean, it's one of the possible openers you can do. There is not only one good opening in FOC because that could become toxic, but it's very interesting.
That is a very interesting opener for sure. I mean, you don't really see too many Neo tank openers, so very unique and very cool. And it looks like that 6 HP infantry actually went and took a shot on this one just so this property wouldn't be able to get capped right away.
Yeah, that's a very important detail to do.
Yeah, so that's very cool too. So I mean, we do lose an infantry, but the 6 HP infantry, technically it couldn't really run away effectively either, so I think doing that shot was pretty good. It secures us that city for a little while longer and allows the Neo tank to actually push up too. Because once the Neo tank gets to the front line, there's not really going to be much stopping it at that point. Plus, the Neo tank is just a power causer too. So any damage done to that Neo tank is just going to directly affect that power meter.
I think the best thing about the Neo tank it's that it's gonna be able to one-shot anything, and we have to keep in mind that this is an anti-mirror. And the good thing about anti-mirrors, even though there is a 2 com towers map, where there is more firepower than normal, is that Andy is the weakest on firepower CO. Maybe you could argue that Sonia is the weakest, but we don't count Sonia as tier 3. In my opinion, Sonia is tier 0.5, is not quite tier 3. So yeah, Andy loves to play against himself. I think it's the best matchup for Andy himself.
I would probably have to agree with you on that one.
Maybe Drake, but I don't like playing against Drake because even though you will revert back the global damage, you still will have to pay for repairs, and you will still be very easily one hit KO once you get the minus 2 HP. Which make it for walling, which is very important as Andy, much more harder to do.
That is the thing with global damage, is the turn it's popped is when it is most effective. I mean, afterwards, obviously global damage plays a little bit of a role too, but it's mostly used so that you can break the walls and cause massive damage that turn.
I want to point out a very important detail. Can you go back? Because it might be overseen, but I think new players would make this mistake. Because now, right here, what GO7 wants to do, he has bet the game into the Neo tank opening, and you want to be sneaky with it, because the most important factor of it is that it's going to be a surprise, right? So what you're going to do is going to move that infantry right there to see if there is anything on the mountain. You have vision of the recon, so you know that going into that forest with that neo-tank is completely safe out of enemy vision. And then you will be able to move the APC to get the infantry into the mountain. So that's a very important detail, because if you want to, your priority on this turn is to be sneaky with X unit, you will have to move your units in certain order in Fog. In standard, the order of your units doesn't matter, but in Fog it might matter a lot, because first of all, you cannot do actions before you don't have vision of the enemy unit. You cannot attack them, and you also don't know what is there, so you might not want to reveal your units, you might want to be somewhere else, etc. So the order on which you move your units is very crucial to consider.
100%, because if something was on that little mountain, then the neo-tank wouldn't have been able to be as sneaky. And same with this one here, with the two recons taking out the infantry on the mountain here, eliminating the vision before anything else.
Yes.
Because now GO7 can't actually see anything in this vicinity except what he can see on this mountain. So he will be able to see this corner here, but most of Tordread's units are actually out of vision right now. The only thing he has sights on is 2 infantry. So if we actually move just slightly out of range here, we could actually sneak around with these units as well. But I don't think Tordread really cares too much about that at the moment. Now, are we still out of vision with the artillery? Yeah, we are. Okay, so that's very nice. Yeah, so most of these units are actually out of vision of... Oops. Uh-oh.
It really feels weird where is Tordread pushing with his army. Like, he's covering with the artillery the 2 recons that denied the vision. But that's weird, because that's really far, I mean, not super far away, but you have to consider where the bases are for Tordread. This is clearly the weak side. So he really has to be careful of engaging into a fight here, because he's gonna be in a disadvantaged position for the reinforcements. It's not gonna be the case, because if there is any fight, it's gonna be a one-turn fight where the neo-tanks will charge in, and then Tordread is gonna get the fuck out of there. But in the hypothetical case, there was an equal battle there.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, excuse me. It is it's kind of odd going over here for sure, but I'm assuming it's because he's thinks that he's got a huge clump of units over here, right? So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see what happens. You know, see what kind of plays towards.
Yeah, even though the double recon, I think Tordread is lacking. He's losing in the vision game. In the maybe not in the vision, but in the intel game, because what has GO7 revealed to Tordread, and what GO7 knows about Tordread.
There's pretty much nothing that GO7 has revealed yet. The only thing he's revealed are infantry and APCs, and that's it. No other vehicle units have been exposed at this moment. Whereas GO7 definitely knows that Tordread is stockpiling a bunch of smaller units too.
Artillery, double recon, tanks. So he knows quite a lot. He knows at least that a neo-tank is... if there was something that could challenge GO7's neo-tank, is just now on the base. So that's oh my god, that's risky to do.
That is a risky play.
And GO7 could have moved the recon to get vision of the artillery, but to be fair to to GO7, there was not a very safe space to put the Recon on. He could have done that instead, and now he would have known that that Neo tank is gonna shoot. But the good thing is that you don't want to shoot that Neo tank, and you will say, why not? Because it's Andy, and you cannot back up that attack into the Neo tank, converting it into a kill. So actually GO7 wants to be attacked by the artillery, because it's gonna mean a lot of power charge, more to GO7 than Tordread, because you gain more for what you lose than what you deal damage. And yeah, that is basically attack me, come on, Tordread. I would be very surprised that Tordread attacks that Neo tank, because that's a trap.
100%. Like I was saying before, a Neo tank is basically just asking for a power charge. That's pretty much what it is, and that's Andy's specialty, is getting that power charge. So yeah, it would be really interesting to see if we actually get an attack on this guy. Ooh, we do.
Maybe he's gonna go for the double tank attack. I could doubt it, but
I don't think the double tank attack would completely take it out. You would have to roll really, really high.
Like it's 15 plus 15. I mean, he has 2 com towers, which would make it 18-18.
Ooh, actually, here's a little issue from Tordread too. We took the shot before capturing the com tower as well, so that could have potentially been even more damage. That could have actually, if the Neo tank was taken down to, let's say, 4, then the 2 tank attack definitely had potential to KO.
Yeah, because two tanks, each one would deal 18 minimum. So that's basically 36 at least, up to 56 of damage. So even now, they have a chance of killing the Neo tank.
Yeah, it's a very small chance, but yes, it would have a chance. I don't know if that would necessarily... I don't know if I would want to risk it so much, but...
No, it could be very risky, because now you are exposing your own tanks into getting 2-hit KO super easily by enemy units. But
yeah.
I don't blame Tordread, because when you have your chance to get a clean shot at a Neo tank with an artillery in the day 11 of a match, when that happened to you, Sammy? I think never, right?
I very rarely ever see day 11 Neo tanks. It's not something that happens too much. I know Multi-Topic Talk, there's a map that he says he opens up Neo tank on like all the time. It's not this one, it's a different one, but
it's fog?
It's a fog map, and he opens up Neo tank like almost every single time. Actually, apparently it works for him most of the time, but...
I think that's not a good thing to say about a map. You do always the same thing, because eventually you are gonna get caught up.
You know, eventually everything comes back to get you, but... I don't know. It is what it is, you know?
I gotta say that even though you are giving away a lot of charge to GO7 with the shoot at the Neo tank, that Neo tank now has to be very careful, because you don't want to attack with that 5 HP tank, but you also kinda don't want to repair it, but you have to. Why you have to do it? Because if you don't repair that Neo tank, you are gonna get a huge loss in tempo, and because you are not gonna be able to do anything with that Neo tank. So I respect the repair. The problem is that copter now is gonna get killed, and that's huge for Andy, because for Tordread, it's very important to make sure you kill the copters.
Yes, Andy's copters are insanely valuable. Probably more valuable than I would say like the vast majority of other COs. I mean, they are, once again, it's a power charger for one. And yeah, they're just super good. I mean, if you can kill them, kill them. If you can
The
keep them
big
alive, keep them
deal
alive.
with copters is that you cannot repair them normally. So if you are doing battlecopter action, you are weakening enemy battlecopters, but yours are not gonna die. Like for example, you get first strike with a battlecopter on your battlecopter, but you're not dying. Then you will superpower back and kill it, and now you have the air superiority. So it's very dangerous to deal with Andy's battlecopters, because your battlecopters are not going to be able to one-shot them. But, obviously the anti-air, but that's
100%.
that's only one unit. It's not a unit that counts into the thousands. It's a unit that maybe it's 1, 2, or 3 of them.
No, that is for sure. Now the question is, I mean, from GO7's perspective, it's like, do we actually use our one lone anti-air and take out the battlecopter, knowing that there is, well, for one, an artillery, and two, we have vision on 3 tanks. So sending forward the anti-air would most likely mean utter defeat for that anti-air without any other units available, and plus we're very, very close to the airport. So I can probably see like a little bit of a retreat actually happening, because I don't know if GO7 would want to push up into this situation. It looks like a very risky situation to push up, even with just the vision that we have here. So I don't know, it'd be questionable whether that would happen.
I would rather first get vision and then decide. But yes, I was thinking just about this move, because if you think about it, GO7 is fighting in his strong side. He has the 2 bases very close, and the third one is not quite far. On the other hand, Tordread is super far away from one of his bases, so that's going to be a problem.
That is very true. So this is not bad. So we took out the vision with the Neo tank. Neo tank is in a safe position. Anti-air is a little bit
That Neo tank
exposed.
is not dying to a 2-hit KO.
Oh no, the Neo tank is fine in this position, so that's very good.
I mean, if there was a medium tank, maybe, but that could be surprising to say the least.
Yeah, that's for sure. Alright, so the other thing that happened here was we eliminated the vision on top of this mountain too, so that's very good. So this section up here is looking very in GO7's favor at the moment, considering that we have a battlecopter right here. So don't see much happening with Tordread's infantry up here. Although these forests are really, really troublesome, because if you get a couple infantry lodged in here, it makes it very difficult to push up and attack anything there. However, you don't really want to do that too much. I do see some people doing what GO7 is doing right here with the infantry, just kind of pushing it up a little bit into the forest, just being a scout, being a little sneaky. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. Now, I think the rest of this turn is mostly just readjusting our units, yeah. So we're not pushing up into this, obviously. It's losing battle.
Right now, I really like the position of GO7, because he is kind of stalling even on one side, but he is with only, because normally you end up in fog matches a strong side against a strong side, even though maybe you are not fighting strong in your strong side. But the other side has only infantry, but GO7 managed to put one copter, one recon or whatever in that part, enough to unbalance that battle. So now he might eventually win unless Tordread brings up vehicles into that area. Because that lonely copter, if there is nothing coming to help those infantries, it's gonna kill all those infantry. Doesn't matter the chip damage, because it's Andy, so the copter will repair it back. If it was not Andy, maybe the copter will eventually get weak enough where eventually it's not gonna be. But that's not the case for Andy. That's why I like copters for Andy so good.
Yeah, normally once the combat happens, Andy will charge his co-power anywhere between like 3 to 5 days. And that is not enough time for infantry to do chip damage to a battlecopter to take it past 5. So, yeah, the battlecopter will be 5. Be fine.
The build from Tordread?
Pardon me? Oh yeah, the big ol' flyboy.
Yep. And what you want to build when you see a Neotank? A bomber. 100%. That's a hard counter. That will completely annihilate the Neotank.
Yep, if we can get it into position and keep it out of line of sight for long enough, this will be an incredibly valuable build right here.
And 140 firepower is enough to reliably kill a bomber with anti-air? I think it's not. I think it's a roll, right? I'm gonna check for you, okay? Since I'm the one who is not doing... I'm gonna check the calculator, don't worry. You can continue with the replay.
Yeah, it might be a roll. I mean, we have 120% firepower right now, so... I think that would be like a 95, possibly.
It's warranted. It's warranted. If Andy has the superpower with 2 com towers, it's warranted. The problem is if Andy has only 1 com tower, then it's a roll, which is favorable in the sense that 2 out of 3 times Andy will get it with 1 com tower, but with 2 com towers the anti-air will guaranteed kill in one shot the bomber with an anti-air. So that's good news for GO7 because he's not gonna be too afraid of the bomber if he's able to shoot it with the anti-air. That couldn't be the case with a com tower. That 6 HP bomber, it's gonna be very painful to deal with.
Yeah, so currently the 7 HP Neotank would be taken out for sure, but we are getting dangerously close to some hyper upgrades here. Looks like Tordread's infantry are actually pulling back to cover the comm tower, all hiding in the forest. We moved a recon into the center, which is allowing us to actually see that GO7 is sending a recon of his own up to the weak front. So we're starting to get some vision up here. Now the question is, are we going to build an anti-air too to contend with the battlecopter, or are we just going to kind of hold that area? So I'm not sure. GO7's position is looking pretty strong down here. We got lots of indirects and quite a few tanks, so...
If you notice, Tordread is playing very aggressive, but he's not quite breaking formation. He's slowly, methodically pushing into this area, which surprised me honestly, but he's still playing super aggressive. Don't get me wrong, but I'm still surprised to see how far deep Tordread is going into GO7 territory.
Yeah, it's like he is playing aggressive, but he's not yeeting anything. He's not taking any trips to Full Sin City right now. Very, very good lineup, actually, to be completely honest. The bomber is getting really, really dangerously close to being able to do something here, too. But
that's very important as Andy. You don't want to... Sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say that pushing in the bomber without taking out any anti-air, though, that's the question. So I mean, if we're gonna do a play to go up and take out that Neotank with the bomber, then it's got to be like the play. You know what I mean?
Yes. I mean, the bomber for the Neotank is gonna be worth. Since it's a 7 HP Neotank, but it's an Andy Neotank. So it's gonna be worth. It's gonna be an even trade.
Yeah, now we got we have a second Neotank here from GO7 now too. So now
Andy units, you got to see them as +5. If you are killing a 6 HP unit of Andy, you are not killing a 6 HP unit, you are killing a 10 HP unit. you are actually doing an even trade. So don't
100.
feel bad about doing that.
That's one of the things that I've noticed that people underestimate Andy for a lot of the time. So when you're fighting Andy, not fully taking out those units and not really accounting for hyper upgrade. Basically, when you're fighting Andy, anywhere from, let's say, like 2 bars to hyper upgrade, you should just automatically assume that hyper upgrade is going to happen next turn. It's a fair way to play when you're playing against Andy, because you can get hyper upgrade mid-turn, you can get it like end of the turn, you can get it beginning of the turn. Andy is pretty much unpredictable with how he'll pop hyper upgrade. So just watch out for that, folks. Watch out.
Each bar is 9,000 of value, unless there has been a power before. So that's basically a copter.
Yep, 1 copter,
so
1 bar.
It's quite easy.
Ooh, so Tordread getting lots of nice little KOs here, just kind of cleaning up a few units that were over here.
I think his plan is to fortify around this forest area, which is very hard to dislodge once you have locked it up. But it still surprised me how deep is into territory of GO7. Like, it's blowing my mind.
Yeah, he is super, super deep in there. But I think GO7 might be getting a little bit nervous because he stopped the push here with these units, and he's actually sending some units over to assist his strong front again. So, I don't know.
I think he is afraid of a sneaky anti-air taking out the copter, and also he sees that yes, eventually the copter is gonna win against the infantry, but it's gonna take too much time in order to be worth. And even then, the copter can be trapped, and if it gets trapped, an anti-air can get there in 2 turns, and you know, it can get sketchy. And probably GO7 thought that it was not worth the shot and just retreat.
I think it's 100% not worth the shot, considering, I mean, it's Fog of War, and it's entirely consisted of forests up in the north. So it would just be too easy to hide your units once they've been hit, and then once hyper upgrade pops up, I mean, you just got fresh infantry again. So it's kind of just a waste of time for the copter. The copter is definitely more effective somewhere else. So it looks like we're taking it down. We might be sending it towards the middle next turn. Maybe just kind of sending it along the back line, so I'm not sure. But, I mean, we can see here Tordread's actually 40 units right now to GO7's 30. So unless we manage to take out a couple units this turn, the unit count difference is going to be quite high. Ooh, oh my lord, that is sneaky. I wonder, okay, so this is like, I wonder if Tordread actually thought this one out too. Because with the movement of the bomber, I wonder if he thought that a recon would actually go right here, because he's literally 1 square away from recon vision with that placement.
I think so, because that's a hot spot for the recon. Where do you want to put the recon? You want to put the recon on the roads, which is gonna get 1 shot guaranteed by a tank, or you want to put the recon next to the mountain on the silo, which is gonna be impossible to 1-shot.
Exactly. So I think that might actually just be some really good foresight from him. So
yeah,
great stuff. Okay.
That's intuition, by the way. I think that's intuition. That's GO7 has a very strong intuition, but I think Tordread is the king of intuition. Maybe Starflash has very strong intuition as well, which is very important to have in live games mainly. But it's also very important to take, because if you take your time and think about it, you will eventually think about this. But you will have such an easier time to spot this kind of plays with intuition. But at least Tordread is retreating, which I can't lie, it relieves me a little bit because I was suffering for Tordread because he could have not sustained the fighter.
Yeah, I was getting some pretty high anxiety with those units sitting there for that long. So yeah, it's nice that we pulled it back.
I really like the formation of Tordread because he has 2 tanks exposed, but those tanks
I mean, they're exposed, but they're covered at the exact same time.
They are completely covered. So if you want to kill them, you are gonna expose 2 vehicles per kill you do. So it's not gonna go even after the next turn if you attack into them, which is not gonna happen because GO7 has not even units in range. I mean, I think, yeah, he has a couple of tanks, but you know, it could be suicide.
Definitely. Interesting build with the 2 transfer copters here, though, too. I wonder... That might be... Well, obviously it's for funneling infantry. I mean, that's one thing, but it could also be for unit count. He might be intending on maybe using them up here to just kind of, like, fortify the lines a little bit, too. Kind of doubtful, but you never know. Because I think he probably knows that he's behind a little bit on the units as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And
the KDA is in favor of Tordread right now.
yeah, considering that these infantry are really, really far away from the lines, maybe he just wants to get them up there really, really quick. Because at this moment, he's got infantry down here, he's got infantry over here, so nothing is really in the front lines at the moment. So yeah, it might just be a play to get them up there a little bit quicker.
I think GO7 now is going for the middle control because the defense of the Com Tower forest is already set up, and now you are not successfully pushed into that area. So now it comes all to the middle fight, which is a completely death ball by Tordread.
That is a death ball and a half right there, my friend. Oh.
And I don't know which is the unit count limit on this match, because there is 46 units in Tordread.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is still 50. The
50?
one I just want to point out one small little feature here too, and I do like the fact that the original infantry is still alive. He's sitting he's sitting here with a 1 HP, but he's still alive. So he's getting her done. That's for sure.
You know it because he's the only one facing the other direction, right?
Yeah, he's just
Somehow,
looking the other way. Looking the other way. Alright, but yeah, see, this is why I'm afraid of really high-level play. Because you get death balls that look like this. And it's like, you know, what do you do against something like that?
I was gonna say 2 turns earlier, because before the death ball, I was gonna say that those are the moments that I hate the most in Advance Wars competitive play. Whenever you are staring at each other, building up tension, and after all that building up, it doesn't happen. Something happens that makes the fight not happening, and someone retreats, and you start staring at each other like this. And I hate these type of moments in Advance Wars via web. I'm very patient when I need to, but I like to be very impatient if I can afford it. So yeah.
Yeah, well, you get to a situation like this, and then it's... So neither player has popped their co-power too. So in a situation like this, it's almost like the first person to attack is the one that loses. Unless they figure out some really crafty way of pushing through the line. But if it's an Andy Mir, you go up and attack. Your opponent is going to use their super co-power, attack back. Then maybe you'll use your super co-power and attack back, but will it be enough? I have no idea. But either way. So day 18, and we have, I'm pretty sure there's very little on the KOs too, if I'm not mistaken. So like we don't really have too many. So 11 and 8. Is that right? 11 to 8? Yeah, so the KD is only 11 to 8. So not really many units have even died too.
But look at the value. The value difference of the KOs is 16,000.
Yeah.
Which is quite a lot, but the more you wait, the less is gonna be felt, you know, because right now it's almost doubling down the difference. It's almost not there. But as you can see, Tordread is the one challenging GO7 back, because now Tordread decided that this is not gonna be an stirring contest. This is gonna be a fight. Because if GO7 somehow doesn't stop that cap from happening, Tordread is gonna start winning. Very slowly, but it's gonna start winning.
Yeah, at that point, it would make it so GO7 is forced to actually start attacking as well. Now, I believe that the Discord Cup, it does have a day limit to it. It might be 30 days, it might be 35, might be 40, something like that. But day 19 right now, so I mean time is flying by. So unless you actually start making moves happen right now, it's just going to end up in a draw no matter where you are on the map.
Yeah, so 11 days is not too much. If you think about it, whenever in captures, it's not much. Like a capture takes 2 days. If it's interrupted, it takes 3. So if at day 27, 28 you are winning in properties, which is the tiebreaker whenever the day limit is reached, you have won the game. Unless you are facing Sammy and she has victory march. But yeah, so that's one thing that GO7 cannot allow at all.
Yeah, I remember back when I was doing the live tournament, not that, actually maybe like a year ago now or something. I was playing one of the players, much higher rank than me, and the game basically came down to a staring match, and then the very last 3 turns is when I made a play to try to win the game, but it ended up being a draw, because I had to actually capture 2 properties. But I captured 1, so it ended up being a draw. But either way, day limit is a real thing, and you got to watch out for it. So yeah, it looks like GO7 is definitely dabbling a little bit in some units here. So we took out a few here, injured 1 here.
It's quite a risky play to do with the Neo Tank, not gonna lie, because yes, it's on a city and it's quite safe, but you don't have vision of that forest. There might be an artillery, you don't know, and there's also a bomber, but you don't know about the bomber, so I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt there. But only an artillery and 2 copters could be enough to kill that Neo Tank. And that infantry also there, next to the Neo Tank, is very easily to kill. So there's gonna be a 3rd tank or a 3rd copter to finish off for sure the Neo Tank. So that Neo Tank, even though without the bomber and without the Neo Tank from Tordread side, is gonna die. So yeah, that's a bit concerning of a move that I don't think I agree with. What 100%. Did that Neo Tank kill?
Something not very great. An infantry. So that's all we managed to kill with that. But it's a pretty good rule of thumb too, is when we start reaching unit limits, right? You can start assuming your opponent is going to be building some really, really heavy units at that point. Because when you're getting really close to unit limit too, you don't really want to waste your time buying small units. You want to just use your funds and buy like the really big guys at that point too. Get the most bang for your buck. But I think this is probably going to be the turn that Tordread counterattacks, I think. Is probably going to be it. Alright, so we expose the Neo tank, take a shot at that Neo tank. Yeah, simple tank KO right there.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, hyper upgrades are ready.
No, his Tordread is not gonna use the hyper rate.
Oh no,
I really doubt.
not on this turn. I would not even consider using hyper upgrade on this turn. I don't think that there's really gonna be enough stuff to warrant it. This counterattack down here definitely 100% justified. But now, I mean, he's gonna set himself up in such a perfect position here that if GO7 decides to actually push up and attack him, I mean, his hyper upgrade is gonna be insanely valuable. And making sure that we get the KOs on those units, that's huge.
That's a very good turn. Like, the only exposed kinda front is the one with the 5 tanks, but that front is completely covered by the anti-air, the copters, and the artillery, and the bomber. And the Neo tank is also near, and the other front is completely swarmed by infantry, so you are not getting through there. So I don't see how GO7 is gonna be able to make this right back. But let's see how GO7 deals with this, because GO7 has to do something. I mean, as long as GO7 doesn't get any property capture, it's gonna end up on a draw, right?
Yeah, it would end up at a draw on that point. Okay, so we have a hyper upgrade pop mid-turn. I don't know exactly how effective that's going to be, but I can definitely understand why. So taking these two trades for sure, this would have been 9 versus 8 trades at the end of it, so that makes a lot of sense. The rest might just be movement to get in. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so I mean, we popped the hyper upgrade, so let's see what we managed to do with it.
I mean, I expect. Wait 1 second. That fighter is in range of that bomber. Could you check?
No.
The fighter of GO7. Okay.
It is just
it's barely. It's barely on range, but it is not. But it's barely on range.
Yeah, 2 spaces.
But it's still gonna be worth attacking a copter with the fighter if you manage to guarantee that only one anti-air is gonna hit that fighter, because oh my god, are we going one shot in an infantry? Because a fighter is not gonna get one shot by an anti-air. Excuse me. So that's gonna be quite interesting.
Oh, 100%.
I don't see. Okay, the mech, another mech.
You know, I'm not too sure about this one. I mean, I don't think that we did enough damage, really.
I think GO7 plan was to fight like this on the middle, but maybe 1 or 2 turns later than Tordread actually did. Because if you see the mechs are coming too late to the party, like 2 turns late to the party. So GO7 plan was probably to put these mechs into the front lines and help to get some kills, but they are just too late.
Yeah, unfortunately they do look a little bit too late here. I think maybe one of the other things is GO7 might really just want to flip this property here to put him at the advantage as well. But
if you count the spaces, it's just 7 spaces of movement away from the airport. So a lone helicopter is going to be able to interrupt that perfectly. And there is no hyper grade by GO7 side. So it's not going to be able to repair back to keep capturing. So yeah, that property is getting interrupted. Yeah. I hope that Tordread interrupts that property, because if he doesn't, he will fall behind. And it's not because of the income is whatever, it's because if they reach day 30 and Go7 has more properties, he's gonna win, basically.
That's the name of the game for sure.
The bomber one-shots the Neo tank.
Oh yeah, you were definitely correct on that one. Yeah, it looks like we got the interrupt here. Neo tank's moving in. Anti-air, that's going to be a one-shot. It should take it down to 2. No, 4. Okay. 4. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I think there's going to be some lots of damage on this turn. All right, here we go. All right, there goes another tank. There goes an artillery. Not attacking here, so that's pretty smart. You don't really want to take that trade. Oh, these Neo tank one-shots, man. It's just like, wow. it's something else.
I mean, they are at right now at 140 attack, so that's basically green day to day with 1 com tower. That's a lot of firepower.
That is a lot of firepower indeed. And it looks like we even spotted the infantry in the corner here too. We did get trapped for it, but Tordread got the sight. So yeah, at this
that
point,
infantry is dying next turn.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Well, it might try to sneak away, but it's not gonna do much.
Ooh, we did get a nice shot with the fighter onto the bomber though. So
Nice.
that's almost taken out. I don't know if it's gonna be enough, but it was taken out. The mech did get a nice shot on the tank, so that's not too bad.
Actually, the 2 com towers allow it to be a 1 hit KO guaranteed, because the superpower defense make it so 1 com tower is not enough to guarantee the 1 hit KO. It was a 99% minimum damage, so if you get unlucky, you will miss that. But GO7 resigned here, and to be fair, I don't blame him. Don't blame him if you look at the value.
Yeah, you look at the state of the map, you look at the value here, we're 50k down, and just...
and that's after
Tordread
killing the bomber and killing some other units.
Yeah, and Tordread just has way too much map control here. I mean, he's still got 2 Neo tanks in the front lines here. Still enough battlecopters.
The only thing that Tordread has to do right now is to capture 1 property and stall and hold to it. He doesn't need to kill GO7, he doesn't need to do anything. The only thing that Tordread needs to win here is to capture 1 property and wait till day 30, and he will win.
Yeah.
I don't know which is the day limit, you maybe can check it out and put it on the screen, but that's the only thing that Tordread had to do to ensure that win, and that would have happened 100%, because if you look at the top right of the map, GO7 has not control whatsoever of that part of the map, and Tordread will be able to capture at least 1 city in that area.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all. Once you get that 1 city, it's just holding, and then that's the entire game right there. That's pretty much it. But that was a wild ride. Definitely some really interesting plays. Different openers to different results for sure. So, no, that was a good one. And congratulations to Tordread for actually winning the Discord Cup tournament there. That's huge. It's a huge one.
Yes, congratulations, Tordread, and I'm surprised to see how it evolved the match, and I really like that he finally decided to retreat from that overextension in the bottom, which was not a bad push, but I think it was not a good place to take the big fight on. And the retreat into the middle, into a staring contest for 2 turns, and then realizing that he has to do something and baiting GO7 in with the capture was really nice.
No, 100%. I think that definitely the retreat at that moment, the tactical retreat, is probably what actually secured him the win for that game. If he stayed down there in the south for too much longer, it wouldn't have been too good for him. But yeah, fantastic match. So I want to thank you very much, Cynical, for joining me here and taking a wild ride into the Discord Cup. So thank you very much. Do you have anything you want to add at the end of this at all?
No, it has been very fun, and you can invite me back whenever you want. It has been a pleasure as always, and thank you for watching, guys. Subscribe, give like, comment, guys. I don't like to say that on my videos, but this is not my video, so go do it right now. Go subscribe to semi-original guy. Okay, guys?
Absolutely. I'm going to leave a link in the description below to Cynical's channel as well, so go over there, check his stuff out, have some laughs at the memes, and it's a good time, folks.
It has been 2 months since I uploaded a video, but yeah, sure, you can go check it out, guys.
Doesn't matter, they're all there. All right, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye for now.